He covers his goal fantastically well. Massive throw. His distribution is wonderful. These are all parts that make the makeup of a goalkeeper. He's got fantastic hands.
When Schmeichel gets it into his head to do something, he just does it, whether it be instinctive or premeditated. He's a goalkeeper who, if he feels it necessary, goes upfield for set pieces.
I actually scored once and saved the team I played for from relegation. I had a very, very poor game that game. I was like putting 2 goals behind me through my legs. I've had a very poor game, and we were 2-1 down at the last minute. I went up for a free kick, and the goalkeeper, who was like 2 inches higher than me, he came out for the ball and he shouted, "Oh, like keeper," and I heard that. I came in just in front of him and scored 2-2. But that's the only time, and it's something like 13 years ago. So I think I'm due a goal now.
Pace is one of the most necessary requirements in the modern game, and Paul Parker is blessed with more than most. He's versatile too, although Fergie was mildly concerned Queen's Park Rangers were using him in a central role. But his full-back performances for England convinced the manager. And this panoramic view of Old Trafford went some way in convincing Parker to sign for United.
We've gone out of the pitch on a Saturday afternoon in the middle of the summer, or, you know, it was the middle of summer, just before our season started really. And there's about 2,000 people sitting in the stadium, all around the place. And they couldn't believe it. He says, "What are they doing there?" I says, "They do that every summer. Just come and sit and watch the grass grow." So a few of them started shouting, "Hope you're signed for us, Paul." And he went up, he says, "You know, like, yeah, I am." That made his mind up.
I couldn't believe it when I come in. It was, I think there was, I said, about at least 1,000 people just actually sitting there watching it. But I mean, I talked to Arsenal and Spurs before I come here. And actually, at the time, Terry Venom was manager at Spurs, and he knew I was coming up here, and he begged me not to come up because he knew I wouldn't come back then. And I mean, as soon as I got here, regardless of anything, it could have been 2 pence a week, I would still come here. I mean, I'm not one of those flamboyant ones. I mean, my asset is the fact that that I'm reasonably quick, and I can tackle. And if I weren't doing either one of them, I don't think I'd be any use to the side. So, but at the end of the day, I've got good players, like Sparky, Giggsy, Eric, who can all do unbelievable things with football. So let them do it, really. If it comes to tackling or anything, then, I mean, that's my main thing, really.
He's always on the phone. Oh, Mr. Busby. Mr. Busby. You tried to win the phone in his private phone, going down, it was last year. He says, "I'm somebody for the such and such a newspaper. I'd like an interview with Ryan Giggs." So right away I says, "How did you get his phone? How did you get his number?" "Oh, I've got it somewhere. I don't know who gave me it." I said, "You have no chance of getting an interview." "Why not?" he says. And he starts. I twigged right away. I just twigged at it. And I'm ready to explode down the phone to this guy. I turned around and I saw him on the phone. I says, "Hold on a minute." And I whacked him in the back of the head. He's never off the phone. It's a disease.
United, though, were still not good enough to win the title. Leeds pipped them in '92, although if the truth be told, United blew it. Leeds had taken a gamble by signing and playing the French international Eric Cantona, who added a fresh dimension. As United fumbled, Cantona and co. just kept on winning. Perhaps the main difference between the year of the jitters and the last 2 exhilarating championships, and it was all down to a fluke of a phone call.
During the conversation we got out to talking, we threw in Cantona and they says, "Well, we need to think about that one," and things like that.
How long's it been in your mind though? Not just during that phone conversation, presumably.
Well, yeah, just more or less that.
Really, like that?
Yeah.
And what, did you decide there and then?
Yeah.
He is tailor-made for Manchester United. He stretches the imagination of our supporters, which is quite vivid anyway. So it was a vital ingredient for us.
Howard Wilkinson still defends his decision to sell Cantona, although the reasoning has never become totally clear. Cantona fueling the controversy in his recent autobiography.
After he signed, and there was obviously a lot of stuff coming out of Leeds that were a bit disturbing, and I said to myself, well, I'm not going to get myself involved in any of that. I'm going to treat him as I would treat any other player.
Has he ever been a problem at all?
Not a bit, not one bit.
The Cantona story is an incredible one. In less than 3 years in English football, he's won 3 championship medals. He's the current Players' Player of the Year and United's top scorer.
He's different, but he's special. And he's a wonderful range of his game. His passing, his awareness, he's good in the air, tremendous in the air, you know. His goal scoring, his creating of goals. But he's a marvellous quick brain, which will always give him the edge in players. Tremendous balance, which the great players always have. He's brave. He's got everything a player needs. He's probably the best player I've ever had, you know, in terms of his all-round game. He's a phenomenal player.
Then, of course, there's the dark side, the demons which lie within. Seemingly losing control as United's European dream ended ignominiously in Turkey. Shown the red card and showing the uncontrollable nature of his temperament. Conduct unbecoming for such a genius. Fergie puts it into perspective.
It's in his nature. He's got a little bit of the devil in him at times. The great players have to have it. The best, the Laws, they had it, didn't they? Forwards in particular have the devil in them.
Do you think it's almost a necessary evil to have that?
I think it's a thing, the courage you need, and having courage normally means of a certain type of aggression to have the courage, you know, that has to be shown, because they're competing against players who are trying to stop them from playing.
The search for the Holy Grail finally ended in '93. Manchester United clinched the championship in a style the late great Sir Matt Busby thoroughly approved of.
Winning the championship was not the end for Manchester United's players who did that, achieved that. The drive has been even more intensified this season.
Roy Keane's natural ability and stamina was nurtured and encouraged by a man whose footballing principles are on similar lines to Fergie's, the irrepressible Brian Clough. Keane was a member of the Nottingham Forest side beaten by United at Wembley in the League Cup. United's interest, already established, was enhanced.
I would to like the smaller clubs, you know, the first division clubs, second division clubs, just for the trial. As I said, it didn't work out, and I was at home for another couple of years. And luckily enough, Forest came in for me, and you know, the rest was. I couldn't believe everything that happened to me in the next couple of years.
You get one of them coming along not in a lifetime, but maybe every 10 years, that you just say, well, we're not losing him. Because every time he played against us, or every time I saw him, he was such a competitive lad, you know, and unbelievable engine up and down the field. So you knew that he was a Manchester United player, just looking at him.
Brian Clough knew he was a player of great pedigree in the making after just one 18 game. The following week, Cloughy promoted him to the firsts. But after his retirement, following Forest relegation, Fergie made his move to make Keane English football's costliest player. At least, that's how it turned out.
We were talking possibly around about the 3-2 area, 3-2, maybe 3-3, same as Alan Shearer. And then their chairman came out with it. The first team to give us $5 million can get him. Thank goodness the chairman was on holiday that week.
Obviously the boys gave me a bit of stick over it, you know, saying how much you worked and if I made a mistake in the game or in training. But that's just part and parcel of the game. You know, the players here work more than me. It's just the fact that I moved club. You know, if you talk to Giggsy, Eric, if any of them moved, they would be way more than me.
He's a very good passer of the ball and doesn't give it away. He's tremendous in the air. He's got great engine, he's got great speed going forward. But he's been a tremendous acquisition for us, no question about it. And I'm really honestly delighted at getting him.
As far as the dream team's concerned, Fergie described him as the final piece of the jigsaw, partnering Paul Ince and being aware for most of the season that Bryan Robson was only a substitution away.
He's just a great example for all the players to follow. You know, you can just see him around the dressing rooms, and as I said, he's still as good. You know, he's still a great player. Obviously, probably not as good as he was because of his age, but you know, you see him in training, he's just as enthusiastic as any of us. You know, and he's a credit to the club.
Only the 6th ever double-winning team. Fergie's thoughts turned to Sir Matt, manager of the original dream team, the Busby Babes.
It's always ironic, and he wasn't here to see it, you know, it's a pity that, but his family were there, and I think they were very proud on Saturday night, you know, at
reception after the game. They were really pleased, and I think Sir Matt would have been really proud of the players.
Our squad's been together now through thick and thin for the last 4 or 5 years. We've added 1 or 2 to the squad, obviously, what you have to do. But the majority have been here a good few years, know what it's all about now, and hopefully they'll remain that way and remain all together and see what we just can achieve.
I think that obviously to win a European Cup would be without question the absolute pinnacle of my life. And
Fergie's Dream Team, in association with Auto Windscreen.